Hello everyone and welcome to the next edition of the Grumpy Pony podcast. In this week's edition we're going to be speaking to my good friend Mark, who really wanted to talk to me about a game that he really loves, and that is Core Space. Now everything I've seen about this game looks absolutely brilliant, but I wanted to get Mark on to go through all the details about how the game works, what the story's all about, and where to go and what to start with. So this is something that we're looking to invest in quite heavily in the shop. So it was great to sit down with Mark and go through all the details. So if you like some squad-based games and you want to hear more about it, this is the podcast for you. Stay tuned and let's get into it. Hello, Mark. Thanks very much for coming on the Grumpy Pony podcast.
Thanks for having me.
No worries, buddy. So today we are going to be talking about Core Space. So for people who don't know anything about Core Space, I'm going to hand over to you, mate. You're going to educate me, let me know everything you know about Core Space.
Lovely. Well, you're in for a bit of a treat because this is it's my new favourite game. It is really, really great. So a little bit about the company. It's made by a company called Battle Systems. They're a UK-based company and they're kind of famous now for doing cardboard terrain.
That and I was always a little bit kind of
skeptical. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of skeptical when they said cardboard terrain. I think, oh, here we go, it's going to be really flimsy. Actually, no, it is really quite solid. It kind of clips together with these little plastic clips, and it's really modular. You can kind of make different layouts and stuff, and yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I've seen the fantasy stuff is brilliant. I love the castles and stuff.
Yeah, they do Fantasy Village, and they do a kind of ruined fantasy as well.
Yeah, for stuff like Kings of War, it'd be perfect. Like just quick battlefields.
Road, rivers, all that kind of stuff. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and that sort of sci-fi version of it as well. I think it'd be brilliant.
It's got pretty much any kind of game you're into, you're covered with their stuff because they've got post-apocalyptic, they've got fantasy, they've got kind of sci-fi, cyberpunk, all that kind of stuff. It's lovely stuff. The art in it is really nice, crisp.
I suppose the good thing is as well, because it's card, that just packs away like super easy. You can just dump.
Yeah, I've got mine in the kind of really useful boxes you can get anywhere. I've got it, just the whole lot of it just packs right down. It's tuck it away in a nice corner.
Yeah, it's quality.
Yeah, it's lovely.
No, I like the look of that stuff.
But yeah, so they've kind of been doing that for quite a few years now. And in about 2017, I think it was, they released a game called Core Space, which utilises the terrain we've just been talking about, but it introduced like miniatures, a rule book, and all the kind of tokens and stuff you need to play their game. And it's a really exciting game. If it kind of supports or it appeals more to a kind of narrative gamer, I would say.
Yeah.
It's not really competitive. Like I can't see it being played at tournaments. But I can talk a little bit about the game, I suppose, about kind of what is Core Space.
Yeah, so what is it? So what is the actual game? Is it a battle game? Is it a skirmish game? What are we looking at?
It's not like a mass battle game. It's very much a skirmish game. You get kind of 4 guys. So the world of Core Space actually is it's set in our galaxy. It's about 1,500 years into the future. So you kind of your typical cyberpunk tropes, and a lot of the galaxy is still quite unexplored. Humans have discovered they're actually quite a young race in the galaxy. There are a lot of kind of much older races that exist, hundreds of which populate the galaxy. There's loads of different races. So we've obviously got humans. There's the Quell, which are 4-armed humanoids, which get really, really angry, really riled up. Awesome. But their home world was actually completely destroyed by the Purge. I'll come on to the Purge a bit later. They're kind of like the main baddie in the whole
big bad.
The big bad, yeah. They're quite terrifying actually, but I'll come on to them. There's the Chits, which are a kind of benign species that actually have 4 genders. But to all humans, it only looks like they're all male, which is a wonderful trait. Yeah. There's the Orna. I hope I'm pronouncing all these right. These are out of the rule book, so I'm hoping I've got the pronunciations down. The Orna, which come from a kind of gas giant world, they haven't evolved quite as quickly, and they haven't evolved kind of fat or even skin. So when they go out to different planets with kind of high gravity or any atmospheres with high gravity, they have to wear like an exoskeleton,
Right.
To keep alive, basically. Yeah, the background on all these races is just fantastic.
Yeah.
There's another race of kind of engineers, which are comprised of like 3 different subspecies, and there's so much detail and depth. If you're a narrative gamer, you're going to love this game.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is set at the galactic center. There's a black hole, and around that area is an area that's commonly known as the Barrens. There are lots of kind of stars, not really much life, but it's actually in the Barrens where most of the action kind of takes place. So think Firefly with all the kind of traders.
Yeah.
So you're representing essentially your own version of the Firefly war band, but you get to tell your own stories. There are obviously the war bands that come within the game, but then you can also just create your own, and there's plenty of tools and stuff which I'll come on to later for creating your own.
That's what I was going to ask. Is there a way of making your own?
Oh yeah. It's great. The company Battle Systems, they're actually really supportive with that kind of stuff, and they on their website you can download character card generators, so you can actually like make your own Photoshop files.
Yeah.
So you basically generate your character, and then you've got the legitimate kind of character card that you can then stick all your stuff on, all your skills, whatever you want to do, and also for kind of campaign. The kind of stories, not the stories. What's the word? The match you're going to play. The kind of setup for the
actual missions.
Missions. That's the word I couldn't find. Yes, missions. So yeah, you kind of you can lay out the map. You can lay out all the conditions, all the cards that you're going to use. It's all like, it looks legitimate because it's come from the legitimate source. It's really nice, really supportive.
Oh, brilliant! I actually did speak to some of the guys at Battle Systems about stocking their stuff in the shop, and I think we are definitely going to be getting some of their stuff in. So it's cool to see that they're really supportive to the community as well. So that's really good to know.
Yeah, very much so. And I think they do a weekly mission as well. It might be on a Monday. They post a mission which essentially uses either the core set or one of the expansions. So everything you need to play it is listed on the kind of spec for the mission.
Yeah.
All the models, everything, all the bits of equipment you're going to need, which I'll come on to the equipment. The equipment in this is very, very cool. It's a mechanic in itself. It's just really, I've not seen anything like it before.
Awesome.
But yeah, so you've got your kind of, so Core Space is essentially, if you're familiar with 40k, I kind of liken it to the warp.
Okay.
So obviously you get warp travel is obviously much faster than traveling in real space. Obviously that comes with certain risks. You know, you might get lost en route. You might end up in the future. You might end up in the past. You might never end up anywhere.
Yeah.
And there are kind of these things called Lagrange points, which the way I think of them is kind of like, I don't know if you ever saw Stargate.
Yeah.
So I imagine kind of Stargates from like point A to point B, and you can jump. The only problem with the Lagrange points is that they're quite heavily guarded and they're tolled as well. So if you're poor, or if maybe you're a rogue trader who's trying to avoid detection, sometimes unfortunately you're going to have to go the scenic route.
And take around. To avoid the authorities.
Yeah, exactly. And the authorities, you've got something called the Galactic Corps, which are following you. Well, they're not necessarily following you, but they're kind of the police force, if you like, of the Core Space galaxy. And there is actually an expansion with these guys, with a load more terrain and their own missions. Or you could just, custom generate your own. There's no rules that say you have to do it this way, which is what I love about this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you've got obviously your traders. So think like Han Solo and Chewie, think Firefly, you're pretty much there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can play kind of little missions that do anything from like salvage runs, retrieving data chips, performing rescues, anything you could think of, really. You just, as long as you got the imagination for it, or if you haven't, then there's the missions in the books. You know, you can do literally anything you wanted with this stuff. It's just a big sandbox of cyberpunk kind of sci-fi fun.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. No, I like the sound of the setting. I think that's pretty cool, and like it's set within our galaxy as well, so that'd be interesting. Because normally it's just like a completely different galaxy. So I wonder what they're going to do with that.
Yeah. So and kind of going back to the big bad, which I mentioned. So obviously, in itself, that sounds like a pretty good scope for a game.
Yeah.
Now the interesting thing about this one is the big bad is known as the Purge. And they're quite an extremely aggressive machine species that have appeared from the Barrens, and they just seem intent on assimilating like all living beings, dead or alive, doesn't really matter. They prefer them alive, but you know, whatever they're up to, no one really knows. So they kind of, your remains or the remains of whatever's left get sucked back into the black hole. So yeah, I'd love to know what they're up to, but there's loads of different characters of Purge as well. So you've got your kind of basic troops, which are your harvesters. They're very much like your kind of Star Wars stormtroopers. Yeah. And they kind of go up in threat level, I guess. Okay. And so you get to the kind of, certainly within the box set, the original box set, you get these things called live ones. And you don't want to be in the same room as one of those things. They're just, they disseminate pretty much anything. Yeah. The game quickly becomes, okay, let's fulfill the objective. If we can't fulfill the objective, let's just get out alive. Yeah. So is it more of a sort of a campaign thing? So you're playing like a string of missions rather than just you're not going to sit down and just do one mission at a time? To be honest, it suits both. You can very much do a campaign, and the beauty of Core Space as well is you can do it solo, because I know obviously at the minute meeting up with people is a bit of an issue. So solo gaming's kind of really rocketed. This game is suited to that, definitely. Or you can so obviously you can play a campaign with yourself. If you're playing maybe sometime in the future, who knows when, you get your gaming groups back up and running again. You can obviously run a campaign between you and your group, and you can choose. You can either do a gang each, or you could do one gang with 4 characters, and you take a character each. Yeah. Pretty much any way you want to play this, it suits. So you can do the campaign thing, or if you just want to turn up at your group and do a one-off match, you can do that too. There's no rules really. The rules, well, obviously there's rules, but you know, they're quite flexible with
how you sort of use them. Yeah. Well, that's really cool. I like the sound of that. So as far as like you were saying like you're single player, how does the AI work in that? Because like my experience of AI games previously was with Blackstone Fortress, and that in my opinion worked really, really well. But that had like a chart where you basically roll on the chart, and depending on how close or far away the enemy was to you, it would sort of determine what that model did.
Well, it sounds like this has something quite similar then, because I've not played Blackstone Fortress, but this has a kind of flow chart, like a logical flow chart. And it's like, off the top of my head, it's like, is there an enemy near you that you can see? Yes or no. It's just like a tree that you follow, essentially. You get to the result, and it might be, attack or move towards the nearest enemy or whatever.
So you don't go and roll any dice or anything. You just follow the chart.
You follow the chart, and then based on the outcome of the chart, you then that's when you start rolling your dice. If you have to move, or if you have to attack someone, or it's kind of the outcome of the tree. Then you start rolling your dice.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, it's an interesting one about how you sort of tackle that and how you make it a sort of truly sort of enjoyable to play solo, but also something that you're not spending the whole of the game just trying to work out what the enemy are doing, because you want to be focusing on what you're doing. But you also
absolutely.
And it's also trying to make it so it's not predictable as well. So it's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I guess when you know the game incredibly well, I guess like the designers maybe might, you can predict and preempt what's going to happen. You know roughly how long you've got to do things before they go a bit wrong. But certainly at the level I'm playing it at, I'm not there yet. So I'm still kind of second guessing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the Purge kind of AI, but also that AI tree works for NPCs because you've got kind of civilians in the game.
Okay.
You've got obviously the Galactic Corps, the police. You might have kind of enemy war bands. You can operate the war bands using the AI system. I guess if you want to make the game really difficult for soloing, you could kind of set up another warband as well as the Purge.
Yeah.
Just make it as tough as you want, really. It's there's a couple of really great systems in the game as well. You've got all the usual kind of things, your melee attack, your shooting attack, all that kind of stuff that you expect from a skirmish game. But the thing that happens at the top of the round is that you have this thing called the hostility tracker. And every round, it gradually increases in threat level. And you've got these pegs that you put in your tracker, which is just like a strip. So each time you start a new round, you put a peg in. And actually, each time a weapon gets fired, the first time each round, you put another peg in.
Right.
As this threat level creeps up, there's different bands of threat level, and obviously increasing in more difficulty. And if you're at the kind of higher end, by the time it comes to the Purges phase of the game, more Purge are going to come on. It starts off not really anything much happening. You've got a bit of time to explore around, see what's what, maybe open a few crates, which I'll come on to the crates. They're really cool. Honestly, there's so much about this game I love. I really do. So the threat level increases. You may be on the second kind of band. You might roll to see if there's a couple of enemies coming in. By like the top level, it's gone Pete Tong, and there's enemies all over the board. There's different spawn points which you can kind of set up ahead of the game, and that's where they're going to come from. They're coming all over the place. They're sometimes it's quite helpful to come out across the other side of the board. Yeah. Sometimes it's right next to where the ship is and you need to get to. And it opens up loads of opportunities if you're having like a multiplayer game and say your opponent who you're kind of working co-op with for the game. You could say, all right, well, I'll tell you what, if you take my guy onto your ship, I might actually make it out alive. And the guy might say, okay, I'll do that, but it's going to cost you X, Y, or Z. I want some assets. I want some weapons. I want some cash.
Yeah. So
it's great. Opens up this. Exactly. Yeah.
That's cool. So is there's sort of I suppose if you were playing a campaign and you were like, well, look, I need to get my guy out. I'll give you whatever's in this next crate, and then they could just go, okay, well, we'll take him, and then you've got to either hand that over or you lose that guy or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you kind of you can do that stuff at the like end game sequences, so you kind of do your trades again and do whatever. Yeah. And what I like about this game actually, the end game sequence and kind of between games, there's not a lot of admin really, because you can kind of keep your character boards. If you have to pack your stuff.
Explain those character boards, because like I've seen them and I've seen like there's all pegs and stuff in them, but for anyone who hasn't seen them, they might not know what you're talking about. The character boards themselves,
So each model is a character, and like, as I said before, you might be operating maybe 4 guys or just 1 guy, but each model has its own character board, which is essentially like a plastic rack, kind of this sort of size. If you're obviously listening at home, you can't see what I'm doing with my hands. Maybe sort of.
It's almost like a notebook sort of size, isn't it?
Yeah,
like a notebook page.
And then in that, actually, I should probably talk before that about the kind of with the terrain. Everything comes in these kind of cardboard sheets that you punch out ahead of time, and the character cards are also within these cardboard sheets. So you punch them out, and they're housed within this plastic housing, which becomes your character board.
Right.
And then all the information on that contains things like the skills you've chosen, character names, like a picture of your character, and then lower down on your board, there's space for things like your inventory that you're carrying, which there isn't a lot of space because you're only human. You haven't really got any baggage or anything. You're not carrying anything like that. So it's literally whatever you can grab. That's what you're going to have. And it really forces some interesting decisions in game about, okay, do I want this weapon? Do I want Do I want a shield or do I want a handgun? Do I want, and you have to, you kind of drop whatever you don't want. And all the assets are literally little kind of bits of card that you punched out again ahead of time, that fit into your board. And if you don't want it and you want to drop it on the ground, you literally drop the counter on the map.
I quite like that. I like that physical representation of stuff, like, having it on the board or on your card, just so you're not constantly going, right, I've got to go to a notepad and write down what I've got. It's actually all in one place. And
it really cuts back on all that admin. So you've got your inventory, what you're carrying at that moment in time, and then below that you've also got like your skills, so like the level of skills you've got, and you've also got your skill points. So this is all done with pegs, and you can spend pegs as kind of during your turn. You can spend a peg to use a skill, and it could be something that gives you a boon to your shooting or your defense, or there's loads, far too many to list, but it makes the game really interesting. You can kind of carve out the ideal character that you're looking for, which really appeals to kind of kit bashers and
I'm already thinking about the sort of crew I'm going to build. I think I've got, I don't know, because I've got
the possibilities are endless.
It's just sort of like, I want to try and build something. I don't know if I'm going to try and build something. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I have to try and when I get my hands on it, I'm going to have to really think about it.
There's actually so the main rule book is in the core box, but there is a deluxe edition of the rule book, which is a hardback book available separately, and in there's actually loads of rules and guidance and stuff for creating characters. So it's definitely worth a look in there as well. If you kind of want to go the more expanded route and the kind of custom creation route, which is very much what I'm into, then it's definitely worth a look at that as well. So going back to the skills, so you've got your skills, you've got your health, which your health pegs, obviously you get shot, you remove a peg. And there is another one, I can't remember off the top of my head what it is. Have I written it down anywhere? That would be useful. Ammo, that was it, yes. You've got a very limited ammo supply. You can pick up kind of ammo rounds and crates and things. But so obviously you fire, you lose ammo. The crates in the game are fantastic. They're 3D crates that you've kind of folded up and put together ahead of time.
All made out of the same card?
All made out of the same card. The art's lovely on them. And ahead of the game, you put a certain amount of assets in there. So there might be weapons, there might be grenades, like shields, armor, anything like that. Or there might be just cash, which the currency is universal assets or UAs. So every asset, like a weapon or whatever, you turn it over, it's got how much it's worth. So if you flog it at the end of it, that's how much you'll get a kind of return on it. Or you can kind of upgrade the weapons and stuff as you go along. But the crates, you put the assets in the crates ahead of time, and then when you're in game, if you want to look what's in that crate, you have to kind of move your character up to the crate and then spend an action to look inside, and you physically pick the crate up, lift off the lid, have a look what's inside. Oh yeah, I might have that. Yeah, oh no, I don't want that. Put the lid back, crate back, and then if anyone else is nearby, they might have another look. Or it's a fantastic, and it makes it much more kind of visceral and real and kind of
I love that. I love that you're physically going through it as well. And like with all the like the pegs and stuff, it sounds to me there's a lot of there's resource management involved in this as well. So it's like you can't just go in all guns blazing because you've only got so many pegs that you're going to be able to use.
No, and actually, interestingly, you never feel kind of overwhelmed with the amount of things you have to keep track of, because you've got your character board there. Everything, you can see it at a glance. Okay, I'm low on health, I've got this much ammo, I can just see it. I think rushing in right now wouldn't be a good plan. Or same with the skills. You can see literally how much you can get away with before you start needing to leg it, really. It's great. It's just easy to track things, and the combat system's nice and simple. I can't remember exactly how the combat system goes, but it's custom dice that are used. You kind of they're D6s, but they haven't got 6 pips on them. They've got like custom
Okay.
decals.
So like success and fail type symbols.
Yeah, kind of akin to sort of your Underworld's dice or your kind of Vanguard dice, Kings of War Vanguard, things like that. And it's it's nice and simple. Kind of combat is really quick. So you've got your kind of 5 phases in the game as well. So you've got your hostility phase, which again is your tracker.
Yeah.
Your trader, which is all your guys, and if you're playing kind of co-op or versus, it's your guys and their guys. Then it's the purge. So you've got your big bad kind of moving up, and obviously if you've just spawned a load in the hostility phase, you're in trouble. After that, you've got your NPCs. So if there's any kind of Galactic Police, Galactic Corps, or
now I did hear that sometimes the NPCs and stuff you can actually trade with them in game.
Absolutely,
or you can get them to join you.
You can recruit them. Yeah, you kind of do almost like a will test on them.
Right.
And if they pass it, or if you pass it, then then
they join the crew.
If you can get them off alive, they can actually you can join them. You can kind of bring them in the next mission or whatever.
That just increases the level of potential role play elements to this as well, doesn't it? Like the idea that we could just go, right, we'll build a campaign, we'll do 10 missions, and we'll have, say, 5 NPCs just dotted around in every game or whatever, and just see who comes away with what. Because if we've got like a few people playing it, and then you've got these different crews all having their own little stories building up every mission, I think it sounds great. And I love the idea that there's a system there that allows so much flexibility. Like you're not beholden to, this is the set of rule, this is the setting that you've got to do it this way kind of thing, and anything
it's very much
what was that, mate?
Yeah, I said it's very much a sandbox. I kind of love the idea that if you've got a kind of extensive bits box, which a few of us have, you can kind of just piece together something. And if it's not quite good enough to make a trader with, maybe it's an NPC, maybe you give it a little cool backstory. It's just the scope is great for people who are into the modelling side and the painting side.
Speaking of the models, what in your opinion, what are the models like for Core Space, the actual Core Space models?
So they are differing quality. The ones that come in the core set are plastic, and I think they're great minis. So they really are. They've got a lot of character to them.
Yeah.
And that character is obviously reflected well on their character boards. But you've obviously got all your different species. So you've got your humans, you've got your Quell. They're all represented within the minis, and they look fantastic. They really do.
Yeah.
But some of the expansions, actually, they're resin.
Okay.
And they're just that little bit higher quality.
Yeah.
The ones in the core box are nice. They're by no means bad quality.
Yeah.
But the resin ones, which I think I just picked up the let me think what it's called. It's called the Shift Change at Megacorp, I think it's called.
Okay.
Which is just a whole host of new civilians, and I think maybe there's 3 traders in there, and they're resin, and they are really crisp, really lovely.
Yeah. Are they one piece, or have you got them together?
The core box plastics are, the resin are not, and there's minimal cleanup on them as well.
Yeah.
On the resin, there's a bit of kind of mold line removal to do on the plastics, but the resin, very little. There's a tiny bit of flash I had on it, but they've got like separate arms on the resins.
That's all right.
But yeah, they're really lovely.
Yeah. Because I was just thinking, it depends. If you could actually almost sort of kit bash those, but if it's just the arms, then maybe you couldn't. But I mean, I was thinking there's other sets. So you showed me, I think it was the Stargrave models.
Yes.
You see that? I mean, those perfect. I think, wouldn't they? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean they've not been released just yet. I think they're coming maybe March time-ish. I think.
Which would be great because March is when I'm looking to get all the core space stuff. So it'd be perfect.
It'd be ideal, yeah. There's with games like Stargrave, there's going to be a lot of crossover. You can use core space minis in Stargrave and vice versa. It's just they're so characterful and cool and different, and I love them.
Yeah, lots of flexibility there. Yeah, I wonder what Stargrave's going to be like, because it's essentially just Frostgrave in space, isn't it?
Pretty much, from what I've
Yeah,
heard. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know too much about it. You might have to come back and educate me about that at some point as well.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah. But yeah, so in all these expansion packs as well, and in the core set, you get these event cards, which, as if there wasn't enough kind of story developing and things like that, there's also at the start of the turns in the hostility phase, you turn the next event card, and it could be anything happening. It could be good or bad. A lot of it's kind of dependent on the threat level. Obviously, the higher the threat level, it's probably going to be something bad.
Yeah.
But in the game I played in solo, there was an earthquake, and unless you were touching a wall, everyone got knocked prone.
Right.
And had to spend an action to stand up, which, yeah, it's just a great little mechanic that kind of throws a little curveball to keep it interesting.
Yeah, and especially those little things, especially if you're like, oh, now I've got to stand up, now I've got to run away from these things.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to have time to look in that crate. I thought I was going to have loads of time, but now I've just got to get back to my ship. Or,
yeah.
Yeah, so much story. It basically writes itself, in my opinion. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love the sound of it. I can't wait to get my hands on it, to be honest. I know, like, the way things have been, everything's been delayed. Like, originally, we were going to get it in January, but everything's been pushed back for us anyways, because the lockdowns and stuff. But yeah, I think March is going to be the time. We're going to go for it. We're going to go for it big, I think, with the core space.
Oh, I'm very excited. Yeah, I mean, if you're into creating your characters, it's definitely for you. You've got all your kind of skills. You've got your I think there's like augmented, there's cyborgs, there's crewmen, hunters, soldiers, support, there's tech, and each one of those classes, if you like, has got a subset of skills. And the rule book, yeah, it's all in the rule book, but it's the way you can kind of customize them is just endless, really.
Yeah. Oh, no, that sounds really good. Oh yeah, well, thanks for going through this all with me, mate. Because
not at all.
So like, I actually spoke to the guys at Battle Systems, and I was like, oh yeah, a friend of mine recommended that I contact you, and they were like, well, first of all, say thank you to your friend. So yeah, will do.
Very welcome.
Yeah. So I hopefully want to get them on the podcast as well at some point. See if they'll come on.
I would listen keenly to that one, definitely.
Yeah. Now it's recorded on here that I might convince them to actually.
You've got to do it now. That's it. It's
Yeah. But yeah, no, Mark, thanks so much for doing this. One thing I'm going to ask you, and I ask everyone this on the podcast, is what you're working on at the moment, hobby-wise.
That is a good question. I'm trying to remember. I've got my Dungeon Saga. I'm working on some baddies for Dungeon Saga. There's a couple of zombies and a couple of the heroes as well for Dungeon Saga, which is by Mantic Games, which is a great dungeon crawler if anyone's interested.
Yeah, that is good. I like the models for that as well. They're great quality. Mantic stuff is that Dungeon Saga it just seems to be getting better and better. What they're doing at the moment. I
mean, considering they're one piece as well, they are really detailed and great for painting. I'm having so much fun painting them.
Yeah, they look cool. I quite like the hero models in that box as well. Was it the Dwarf King Saga or something? Is it?
Yeah, you've got your standard kind of Hero Quest type heroes.
Yeah.
So your barbarian, your elf mage, and dwarf.
Yeah, that's cool. No, I like all that. And then, obviously, we've just had the preview yesterday from Games Workshop as well, haven't we? That we watched.
Yeah, the sisters with the shoulders.
The sisters with the shoulders. And we had, it just reminded me, the only reason I brought it up because of the new Warhammer Quest. So it looks like it's going to be another dungeon crawler, which is
Cursed City. Yeah, I think I might have to get involved with that.
Yeah,
the two models for that look incredible. There's the kind of witch hunter guy with the satchel on his back and the hat.
Yeah, that's
the other awesome. One, one of the first baddies they've shown, the guy who's got like the shovel.
Yeah, the like zombie.
He's like lifting up a ground, zombie crawling out. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, I mean that looks good. So it's going to be like another dungeon crawlery type game by the looks of it. I mean, from the little that we've seen so far. So with that core space. Dungeon Saga, there's just so many choices out there now. I think I think Core Space is well suited in that field. I think it's going to be a top one to beat because, like I say, I've spoken to a few people that have played it, and no one has anything bad to say about Core Space. Everyone says how much they absolutely love the system, how easy it is to learn, and everyone's like as passionate as you about it, and which is rare. Normally you get someone go, no, it's all right, but no one has said anything like, oh, this could be a bit better or that. Everyone's been like, yeah, it's great, love it.
I think it's one of those games that if it tickles your pickle, it really does. But it's not everyone's.
Having the stuff so visually sort of represented like that on the table, I'd be surprised if you didn't see more of that coming from these other games that are coming out. Because it's. I can
see it being quite beginner friendly as well. Because that's the key.
That's the key with these sort of games. I mean, that's why I think Blackstone Fortress was so good for me because I managed to get the wife playing it with me, and it was easy to teach her how to play it. And then you do that, you get them playing once, and then you get the excuse to go and get all the stuff you want after that.
You need to learn your ways. That is the holy
perseverance, brute force, and ignorance. Yeah.
Well, that's how I got to marry me. But yeah,
yeah, you can't keep using that. Yeah. Oh, mate. Well, yeah, mate. Thanks so much for doing this. I think that's all from me. So, Mark, thanks for going through Core Space with me.
No problem.
And we'll just call it an end there.
Thank you very much.
As always, thanks so much everyone for taking the time to listen to our podcast. It's a great support for the shop and a great support for our little community in the middle of Kent. Thanks again for taking the time to listen to us, and I hope to see you again next week.